know.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Not Table Talk. It is I, your host, Shawn Ambrosino. With me, as always, is the VP of Nutrex, Chris Waldrum. How you doing today, Chris?
Fantastic, Shawn. How are you doing?
I'm doing capital, my
Fabulous.
good man. I am capital.
A day we're alive, and we're going to be talking about some delicious freaking protein.
I had this. I had this dream where if somebody said "have a good day" to you, you had to punch them in the face.
Oh God!
Isn't that the weirdest dream?
There's your nihilistic.
I mean, it's a weird dream to have.
Have a good day. We're just talking about subliminal triggers.
That might be my subliminal trigger.
Oh my gosh! So what are we talking about today? Let's get it.
We're talking about. Well, look, we're showing you guys this. Nobody's really seen this before.
No, actually, you might be the first to see it.
You guys are seeing this first. This is the new look ISOFIT Protein Whey Isolate from Nutrex. If you don't already know, which you may not, this I'm gonna say this without bias. And this is as weird as this sounds.
Never bias here.
Working with the company, you would expect a little bias, but I have been drinking protein shakes since I was at least 18 years old. So like 10 years.
When protein shakes first came out onto the market.
You need to watch your mouth. So, so a little bit more than 10 years.
Yeah.
Probably, close to 32 years. Anyways, I've been drinking them for years. And I am not lying and I am not exaggerating and it's not hyperbole. ISOFIT is the best tasting protein that I've ever had. The best tasting protein that I've ever had.
And looking now.
And now the look matches the taste.
Ooh, I like that.
I've got every single flavor, and I cycle through all five.
Napoleon.
What's that?
Napoleon, Napoleon ice cream.
Oh yeah.
Chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. But
my favorite, though it's not here, is the Banana Fosters.
Yeah,
that is my absolute favorite.
It's a sleeper.
And I don't know, you know what it is, and it's like we just said, it's the little things. It's the hint of cinnamon in it that really kicks it up a notch.
The chef's kiss.
Yeah, exactly. Now this stuff is just it is our premium product. And so you guys can see this. 25 grams of protein, 12 grams of EAAs, almost 6 grams of branched chains, and less than a gram of sugar. This stuff is, as the kids would say back in the day, the shiznit.
Yep.
However, let's put this in the back seat. What I would say, more than anything, protein supplementation is probably the most important aspect of bodybuilding, weight gain, just overall health as far as everything is concerned. For me, protein is what fuels my muscles or doesn't fuel my muscles. That's the wrong way to put it. It's what fixes my muscles after I jack them up.
That's a good one.
Do you think that there is enough of a focus on protein supplementation in our industry or in the fitness industry, or do you think it kind of gets lost because it's like, oh yeah, you gotta get your protein?
I think protein has been a main staple since the early days of bodybuilding, because if you go back to the Arnold era or Frank Zane, they were almost on a keto diet, at least when they went into the contest prep, they would really cut out carbs. So protein was the main source. And that's just continued on. I think over the years, people have been misguided by cheap, crappy proteins, thinking that they're going to get a sufficient form when it's not bioavailable, which is why we have, this isolate and ISOFIT. So I think the knowledge and awareness of protein has increased, that you do need protein for adequate recovery. And as you work out and you're breaking down your muscles, because when you're working out, that's all you're doing. You're breaking down your muscles, you're creating tiny little micro tears, and you're utilizing the amino acids that are inside your plasma, your blood plasma. So when you have protein, your body breaks down the protein into these individual amino acids, and some of the main ones that help, which you all know, are the essential amino acids, and then your branched chain, which are your 3, and that is what helps aid in recovery. And recovery is everything, because if you beat your body up and you cannot recover, your strength is going to be compromised, your performance, your endurance, everything about performance is going to be compromised. So having protein, an adequate protein intake, is absolute mandatory for any athlete.
All right, pump the brakes, big shoots. I got a question. You said this word, and I've heard you say it before, and I'll let you know it goes right over my head, and it might go over some people's heads. What does bioavailability mean?
So that's good. So the main definition of bioavailability is the level of capacity your body has to absorb whatever the ingredient is, whether it is a plant extract, whether it's a protein. When you talk about proteins, if it's an isolate, one isolate is a lot cleaner. So, and I'm not saying anything bad about concentrate, because we have concentrate too, but when you have an isolate, your body's going to be able to absorb that much more efficiently than if it was, let's say, a lower quality protein. So the higher the bioavailability, technically the less you could take with the more absorption that you get.
Gotcha. Because you've said that before, and I'm like, oh yeah, bioavailability. What the hell does that mean?
It's bio and it's available.
Yeah. Have you, like, obviously, as your own company, what do you think goes into the formulation of a quality protein supplement like this, like ISOFIT? Like what is essential, I would say?
Yeah, so I mean, it really, to break it down, it'd be WPI 90. And when I say WPI, Whey Protein Isolate 90, a lot of the other whey isolates out there will be a blend. And again, this isn't necessarily a bad thing, but if you want to get the cream of the top, the highest octane, you want to have an isolate protein. And now, to build off of that, there are hydrolyzed proteins, but those are insanely expensive and almost counterproductive because nobody could afford them, so there's no reason to really incorporate them. But an isolate is literally as good as you can get without completely breaking your bank.
There's got to be, that's it? I mean, that's really all you're really looking for?
That's it, yeah. WPI 90. WPI 90 is just, it's the 90% of the material that you're putting into the product is the whey isolate.
And then the rest is trying to make it taste delicious.
The rest is, I mean, when you look at the overall, what compromises a formula, you're going to have the flavoring system, which is your sweeteners and the actual flavor, maybe a masking agent, and then like excipient, which you don't put it in proteins, but then it'll just be the material. When I say 90%, it's purely the protein. So if you have a scoop of just pure protein without any flavoring, without anything else added to it, 90% of that would be the actual protein. And that's just because the material is made up of more than just the protein that's inside there.
So the branched chain aminos, the EAAs, those are just part of the protein.
Yep, that's what comprises the protein.
Now, there's been, I've heard all kinds of, I've heard across the spectrum about how much protein your body needs. Right now I'm weighing probably around 290. I want to get down to 270. I should be eating about 270 grams is what I've been told. But then I've heard it's up to twice as much as that. So what do you find is a
good ratio?
A good ratio.
Number?
Yeah.
Man, that is so tough, and it's one of these ongoing debates because you'll have studies that show your body could only absorb X amount, but then they don't go deeper to say, well, this is the person's body weight, this is their activity, this is their level of fitness. So to me, it's not a one size fits all. I wish it was, because you could say, maybe 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight would be sufficient, that is a shitload. I think if a normal person could get 1 gram per pound, they're going to be more than set. If you want to have a goal, and this is depending on your programming, you would configure your caloric intake to be scalable. So if you want to reach, let's say you're 220 pounds, you want to reach 230, you would have your program slowly increase your caloric intake, which would consist of protein, fat, and carbs to be able to get there. But 2 grams per body pound, that's where, and I'm a big guy like, hey, eat as much protein as you can, because if you're working your ass off, your body's going to find a way to utilize it. But 2 grams per pound, I think, might be a little excessive, unless your physiology is different, or unless you're on a lot of PEDs, So you can utilize it, but if you're not on PEDs and you're not able to really absorb it, utilize a protein, then it's counterproductive.
Yeah, and as it makes it's called a supplement for a reason.
Yep.
Like most people get their protein from animal or plant. I don't think it's obvious. It's probably not obvious. I'm a meat guy. Mm-hmm. I would rather get my protein. I believe that we're omnivores. I mean, we have our closest ancestors, chimps, bonobos, primates. They will eat meat if they catch it.
They'll also eat each other.
Yes.
It could be cannibalistic.
So that lets me know we should, if they will do it, if they eat meat, we should be eating meat.
Yep.
But I might go a little bit more towards a more like feline or canine genus type, because I eat a lot more meat than I eat anything else. Yep. I should probably find a happy medium somewhere.
All about balance.
Yeah.
No extremes.
So generally though, if I'm eating a steak, I'm eating 6 eggs in the morning. I'm eating a steak, generally, what's that, 60, 70 grams of protein.
Yeah, and how many ounces.
Yeah, and and then I have a lunch that's like, say, a very a very frequented place for us. I mean, there's like, that leaves, like, if I'm looking at the math, I am way under.
Yep.
Way under. Now, generally, I just take 1 scoop of this. Now, again, it comes back to, can your body absorb? Like I was told, it can absorb about 20 to 30 grams at a time.
Yep.
But can it absorb more? I mean, like if I do 2 scoops of ISOFIT, how much of that is going to be flushed?
Yeah, utilized or just wasted.
Yeah, wasted.
And when you talk about expensive products too, you want to make sure you're making the most of it. You're not taking 2 scoops and only utilizing 3/4 of it or whatever it might be. There's studies out there that show how much a normal person's body can utilize, but again, it's not a one size fits all. If somebody has a substantial amount of muscle, they are working out very hard, breaking down the muscle, their body's probably going to be able to absorb more protein than somebody that's just doing it as a meal replacement. So I think the applicability needs to be considered as well too. If you take a post-workout and your body is compromised because you've been breaking down muscle cells, you could probably absorb a lot more than if you did it any other time throughout the day. So physiology, depending on the individual,
and maybe in timing too.
Timing, yeah, exactly.
Timing and physiology seem to be
timing, physiology. Other external factors are what PEDs, what performance-enhancing drugs that you're utilizing. If you're using a substantial amount, your body could probably absorb a lot more than a natural bodybuilder too. And if you talk to a natural bodybuilder, it'd be a completely different conversation than it would be that somebody uses PEDs.
Yeah, it's always finding that, but it makes sense, the timing. After I work out, slam, maybe do a scoop and a half, and and then the other 2 times that I drink it, just a scoop should be fine. It's funny you brought up meal replacements, and I was like, do you remember the days of Metrics? Man, those Metrics packs were great. Mm-hmm. Like, you could take them, but they mixed like shit.
Sludge.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it was like pudding. People, most of you watch, you don't even know. Or EAS. EAS would have a big old box, and it'd be like $150 for like 30 packs or something like that. You tear it open, it's like a comprehensive meal replacement, and it was, I don't care if you put a gallon of water, like absolute sludge where you had to chug it down.
But the EAS tasted like, it literally tasted like chocolate pudding.
Yeah, at least the flavor wasn't bad.
Yeah, the flavor wasn't bad, so probably it was full of sugar. I never really looked at it. I was just like, oh, it's got to be good for you.
Nope.
That was before I started reading labels and going, whoa.
Yeah, there was a time in the industry where people didn't read labels, and it's primarily because the information wasn't as readily available and it wasn't as popular. So you would take the word of the company, which, with companies, not all companies have their best interests at mind, like Nutrex does. Obviously, you see the awesome product that we have right here. But that's a really good point. Protein can be utilized as a meal replacement on something on the go. Now, nutritionists will say you need more balance, you need fiber inside there, you need some healthy fats and some greens, some polyphenols and whatnot. But I use this for my first meal. I do 2 scoops of ISOFIT with 25 grams of protein worth of egg whites. So, I mean, that's 75 grams right there, not counting if I use whole milk.
Wait. How does that taste?
Amazing.
Really?
Insane. Yeah. Liquid egg whites, because it doesn't really have a flavor to it, but it's really salty. And if you like sodium like I do, then it just makes any of these proteins taste.
So wait. So, what about the, what do they say you can get from raw eggs? Salmonella?
They're pasteurized egg whites.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you get them in the carton.
Yeah.
It's not like you're cracking the eggs.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
which is probably conspiracy too. I know people that crack eggs and they're freaking kings.
Well,
depends on the quality of the eggs too.
Rocky did it.
Yeah. If Sylvester Stallone could do it, Rambo, come on.
I wonder how my mom's eggs would be off the farm.
Probably the best.
Probably the best. Yeah.
Industrialized farming is where we came up all the shitty stuff that's happening to us.
And yeah, it's funny, and with, like, this leads me to the next part. One of the things I've noticed, what my mom has done, because they sell eggs, they have ducks, and they have chickens.
Nice.
And they have geese. A goose egg is huge. It's awesome.
Is it really?
Yeah. Like, when I'll go up there in Christmas, I'll see if I can't bring you one back.
So is one like a whole meal?
For us, it would probably be like, we'd probably need to add like 2 more eggs.
Yeah.
But they're pretty big. Like they're a good size. But the thing about the eggs, what my mom's had to do is, chicken feed has gone up.
Mm-hmm.
The price of chicken feed has gone up. So the price to take care of the chickens has gone up. So they've had to raise the price of their eggs.
Yep.
This is
inflation.
Inflation is killing a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things that, like, it's almost like a silent killer, because, like, it's been happening for the last 2.5 years, like, at an unprecedented rate, and we just keep spending, like, oh, it's just going up. I guess this is just the price now.
Spend our way out of it. Yep.
Spend our way out of it. That's kind of the beauty of a protein supplement.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cost effective. I mean, if you want to get the amount of protein that you need,
mm-hmm.
and dollars are tight, you could spend. So this is just over $1 a serving,
mm-hmm.
I think, right?
Less if you're subscribed, obviously,
to
our emails, our affiliate
or if you get
program.
it on sale.
Mm-hmm.
It's $1, just over $1, just under $1 a serving of 25 grams of protein.
Mm-hmm.
That equates to about 5 or 6 eggs.
Mm-hmm.
My mom is selling her eggs at her farm. She's selling those for $3. If you go to the store, you're spending at least $4 to $5 for a dozen eggs.
Yeah, depending on the quality,
So, like, this is already beating the price of eggs.
Yep.
So, where do you foresee us going in that direction? Like, what do you think the future holds as far as price and... It's kind of a loaded question.
No, that you make a really good point, because with bodybuilding or any kind of performance sport, not just bodybuilding, it's all about efficiency of your body and how could you optimize your body. And with that, it's going to come with a lot of food. And if you're like me and you buy the organic stuff, it's very expensive. So having an option like the ISOFIT is great, because, like Shawn just said, you could get an adequate amount of protein without breaking your budget. So if you really want to have a goal and you set that goal high, it's going to cost X amount of money to be able to get there. And if you could do that in a more efficient way for your bank budget or your wallet and be able to achieve your goals, then it's a win-win scenario, And the simplicity of it, the convenience of this, are you going to be on the road cracking the egg open? Probably not, or unless you cook like meat and bring it with your pre-made meal. So this gives you a much easier way to be able to maintain that balance that your body needs to perform at its highest.
Yeah. I think with the direction everything is going as far as our economy, I just think this is the smartest, and I'm not even talking about for bodybuilders. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about
calories.
I'm just talking about people, man.
Mm-hmm.
People need to be, instead of giving your kid, a couple eggs in the morning, that are going to cost you $4 or $5. Make them a protein shake. They'll get what they need. Give them a protein shake and maybe a piece of fruit, like a banana
toss in
or
a
something.
banana. Yep. Scoop of peanut butter, and then you got a full, delicious, high-calorie meal.
Because things are getting hard out there in the streets, bro.
It's only going to get harder, guys. Let's stay positive, though, okay? We only got another year of Joseph Biden here. This will be good.
But yeah, it's just an interesting, dynamic of how the supplement industry is slowly but surely like coming towards not being supplemental but being necessary.
Yep. Yeah, more advantageous to be able to save money. Because you're right. I mean, two big factors are the convenience and then the cost. Getting everything whole food, which obviously, that's going to be the best route. As Shawn said, this is a supplement, but as food increases because of the massive runaway inflation that's happening right now, you have another option to at least be able to ensure that whatever you're doing, you're getting the adequate amount of protein for recovery or whatever your goals are.
Yeah. Now, and you mentioned convenience. Let me ask you a question, personal question. How many sugar cups have you had to throw out because you left dried protein smegma in it?
Yep, that just explodes in your face, reminding you that you just forget everything and you have no capacity to remember.
You ever leave one, like you forget sometimes. You find one in the back of your car and all of a sudden the lid pops open and you're like,
where did that come from? Yep, absolutely. Luckily that only happened when I was younger because you're just all over the place, what I mean? You're a squirrel. Now I'm very religious with keeping up the lifespan of my bottles, and once like protein or even amino acids, if they're fermented, go rancid in it seeps into the plastic itself. It's almost impossible
to clean.
To clean it off. So then you're just throwing away plastics, which are going to end up in the ocean, and we don't want to do that.
Yeah, and I'm the guy that brings the mixer cups.
Yep,
that's just so much easier for me. Like, hit the button, let it mix, clean it, wash it out.
Yeah, good to go.
Do it, hot water, soap, good to go. I don't know. Well, I think we've talked their ear off about protein. Hopefully, you guys, you got something out of it. Hopefully, you got some information out of it. Again, this is the new look of the strawberries and cream. It's beautiful. I mean, again, we've talked about our labels and how much little detail is in there, how much I'm caressing it. How much?
Everybody just got uncomfortable.
Tactility. But would it be tactility? Is in there. This new look isn't out yet, but you guys are getting a first look. As soon as it's out, you'll see it. I guarantee you, it'll pop on whatever shelf you shop at. But I think we're going to go ahead and why don't we go get a protein shake right now?
Sounds good. I feel catabolic, and this is anti-catabolic.
All right, sounds good. As always, guys, thank you for watching. Before you go, though, before we leave, please subscribe, comment, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff because that's how we're going to get this information out there because this is what this is. Obviously, it's a little pointed towards us, but the information is true and it's good. And you guys need to do yourselves a favor. Get on some protein. Get as much protein in your body as you can. Other than that, bioavailability.